Hey everyone, today I am going to show you a quick little butcher tutorial. In this video, there are two British people, and I have to say they're pretty awesome, and they're really good at playing heroes, and they're funny, and they're a good
I'm
duo.
sure he's joining with a friend, so he's one of his friend down.
I want you guys just to watch this little
So how
clip
does Chromie work?
of how he plays Butcher. Now I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Okay. Now
living bombed me. It's funny because now,
so he's playing Jaina, and his friend is playing Butcher. So here he is with Butcher. He sees Sergeant Hammer, and as you can see, he charges in and he dies. Now, obviously, one of the biggest things would be to not do that as Butcher. But let's go over some reasons of why you shouldn't do that and how you can better your Butcher play. So, if you look, the Jaina is fine. She's staying by her tower. But if you can see, this is already a bad position for Butcher to be in. As you can see, if we look at his fresh meat stacks, he's at 4 fresh meat stacks. Now, there's going to be a patch where they change Heroes of the Storm completely, and they allow his maximum stacks to go to 125, and they're going to be retained when you die. So they're completely fixing the Butcher. He's a Class D hero. A long time ago, he used to be very good. He used to be very, 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 very good because his W, the cooldown on the W, which is Butcher's brand, and it allows him to hit his heal. When he's next to someone fighting them, he can hit his W. The cooldown was a lot less, so you could always hit your brand, and you could pretty much clear a whole team with Butcher. Now, obviously, Blizzard wanted to balance him, so they made it so that his W had a way longer cooldown. I believe it's around 13 or 14 seconds. So now you can only heal from your opponent every 13 or 14 seconds, and Butcher is, in fact, a pretty squishy assassin. Although his health pool is pretty big, it's like 2,500, and it's huge for an assassin. The whole thing is that people play him too much like a tank, and he is an assassin. My rule of thumb is that when you're anywhere near this close to their tower, you don't want to ever engage your charge. Now, the other mistake that I saw that he made is when he sees Hammer, he immediately engages his charge. If you can see, he's within range of Hammer, but she's obviously using her Z. So she's going to get back in the tower. He's not going to be able to hit his W to heal, as you can see, and he's going to end up just dying to the tower. So what is the proper thing to do in this scenario as Butcher? Well, let's go back over it. Let's see. Well, the first things first is that he only had 4 stacks. That means he only killed 4 minions before he decided to engage, and there's his first mistake right there. I don't recommend ever getting in an engagement until you have full stacks. That's 25, but if you pick up Abattoir, it allows your fresh meat stacks to go up to 35, and you only lose half of them when you die. So once you get to Abattoir, or Abattoir, however it's pronounced, it's a level 7 ability that is very good for Butcher. It's the most required one if you're going victuals. Anyways, you're going to want to be at 25 before level 7, and then at level 7 when you get Abattoir, you're going to want to be at 35 stacks before you even engage. The thing about Butcher is Butcher's only good when he has buffed attack damage. As you can see, at 4 minion kills and 4 fresh meat stacks, he can't even really do any damage. And in all honesty, that's just going to be a death. So, couple rules. Keep your fresh meat stacks up. Make sure that you are always laning. You go victuals, you go lane, and you kill a bunch of minions. You can hit your W to heal on them. It's pretty easy to lane with Butcher. He's actually a really surprisingly good laner for an assassin. Alright, now that we got that covered, the next thing is whenever you're very close to their towers, you're never going to want to hit your E, ever. Because if they choose to go back into their tower, you're charging directly into it. Now, let's say you accidentally did make the mistake of charging Sergeant Hammer. Let's say you were there, right? You see Hammer, and you accidentally charge her. That's your first instinct, right? Oh, I want to get my damage. Well, right here, what I would have done is I would have pressed E again. And what pressing E again does is it cancels Butcher's charge. So while he let the charge go after he pressed E and just let himself die, he could have saved himself by pressing E and walking back into his base right after he hit the charge. So, first of all, he shouldn't have charged in the first place. He should have had more fresh meat stacks. He shouldn't have been anywhere near their tower. And he could have canceled his E. So, these are a lot of things to think about when you're playing Butcher. Butcher is a hero that needs to be laning before team fights, that needs to be able to have someone like this. This is a perfect target. If Butcher is standing right here and he charged Sergeant Hammer right now, which I don't know why he didn't. I guess he let Jaina finish off the kill with Nova, but he can charge and finish off people more so than any other assassin. So you want to use that to your advantage. His E will 100% of the time make contact with every single hero, except if they hit some sort of unstoppable, or if it's Tracer and she uses her Q. Now, believe it or not, one of the squishiest heroes in this game is Butcher's counter. Tracer is Butcher's counter because she can just Q, 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 Q all over the place and just run around, and Butcher can't even catch up to her because by the time that he hits his E on her, she can Q out of range, and you're not going to do any damage, and then she's gonna kill you. So here's a good charge, and there you go. It was activated around the same time that they were on low health. Now he's going into fight here. I don't particularly have like a something against this engagement. However, the whole thing is that what you want to do is you want to feed off low health opponents. What you're gonna do is with Butcher is you're gonna charge everyone on low health, and you're gonna soak the health from them, the little remaining amount of health that you have or that they have, and you'll take it. So that W, the reason why it's so good is because it's taking life from them. It's doing damage at the same time as it's giving you health. So in a sense, you can think of your W as a life steal. Like when someone's on low health and you go up to them and press W, and you're on like half health, what you're doing is you're stealing all of their health and you're filling your health up to your pool, even though that's not exactly how it works. Basically, that's what you're doing. And so with Butcher, if anyone's ever on low health, you can always get a favorable engagement. But the whole thing is, it comes down to stacks, knowing when to engage, knowing when to cancel. Another big thing is you can taunt people with your charge. So you can press E, and then you can cancel it, and it will send that person back, presumably because they think that you're going to charge them. And this is really good for controlling and defending. Like if they're trying to come at your tower and you charge into one of them and then cancel it, it can make them stutter step micro back a little bit, or react to your charge. So keep things in mind when you're playing Butcher. You're going to want to 100% get your victuals. You're going to want to hit Unrelenting Pursuit, because Unrelenting Pursuit allows your E to be hit whenever you want. You're going to want to hit Abattoir, which allows you to only lose half of your victuals, and 1 is obviously victuals. So at 7, you get Abattoir, which will only make you lose half of your victuals. So if you're at 35 victuals, which is a lot, you won't lose all of them. The next thing is, after level 7, after the Abattoir, you're going to go for your 10. Now, Lamb of Slaughter is really good. You can hit Lamb of Slaughter, but only if you have full fresh meat stacks. That's the only time Lamb of Slaughter is going to be effective. Furnace Blast will constantly do 300 damage, so Furnace Blast is my go-to thing. However, a lot of pro guides and a lot of pro builds use the Lamb of Slaughter, and I've actually had a rank 1 pro player tell me that Lamb of Slaughter is what he uses, and it works really well. But he said I could still hit Furnace Blast, and I've been doing that, and it works, and it's fun. So either way, have fun with both ultimates. Furnace Blast does instant damage, so if you charge them and you hit your Furnace Blast before it by pressing R, which is your Furnace Blast, and then charging them, it will detonate in 3 seconds right when your charge is complete and you're right next to them. So it's like, if they're on low health, it's an insta-kill. Lamb of Slaughter is good, but if there's a lot of people around to fuck you over, it's really not good because you're only chaining one of them and you still have 2 people killing you. So it's not going to help you. Alright, so those are his abilities to level 10. But then let's go over his abilities after level 10. So we'll go on over to Butcher. I'm not 100% familiar with every single one after this. I know exactly which one when I look, but I just can't remember what they're called. So here we're at 13. So it's going to be a movement speed upgrade. So what this does is basically when you hit your W, you get 30% movement speed. How is this helpful? Well, Butcher's always charging in, and he always gets himself into an environment where you charge in and you're not happy about it because you're surrounded by a bunch of people and you get ganked. So hit the movement speed buff, and you will go a lot faster. So you can run out after you charge someone and hit them with your W. So this is the attack speed increase. So if you have 35 stacks, that's 35% attack speed increase. What's really cool is in the new patch, that's going to be like 150 stack damage. So Butcher's going to be really, really high damage, which is going to be great. That's just like how Butcher was. And he's been so useless for so long, and now that they finally fixed him, I'm really happy. Anyways, 20, you're going to want to hit Nexus Blades. It's kind of obvious. It just increases your movement speed. You deal 20% more damage and 20% more movement speed, but this only lasts 1 second and during your basic attacks. But as you know, his Q is really his only high damage attack. His W, it leeches health and does good damage, but his basic attack is what is really going to be finishing people off. So Nexus Blades is one of the most important abilities. The only other thing you might want to go for is Fires of Hell if you went for Furnace Blast. And if there's a fat team fight, you decide to charge someone and Furnace Blast them, and then their teammates try and help them, you can blast their teammates with the second Furnace Blast. Also, another interesting, level 20, you can really go for any of these abilities, and they're not going to hinder you. The one disadvantage is that if you don't go for Nexus Blades, your attack speed won't be as high as you'd like it to be. And the whole build is based on attack speed, just And the reason why is because the more attack speed you have, the more heals you're going to be doing, right? Because what's our talent? What is our W talent, right? This is Butcher's brand. Deal 37 damage to him and cause your basic attacks against him to heal you for 75% of the damage done for 5 seconds, right? So, and that healing doubles versus heroes. So when you're hitting your W on a hero, you're healing. So what happens when you think you're hitting your W faster? You're healing faster. You're attacking faster. So that means that this W is going off faster. You're healing more rapidly. So that's why the attack damage build works, because when you hit your Butcher's brand, you heal up with it. Okay, now let's go back to level 20 talents. Like I said, you could go for the Furnace Blast explodes twice, kill a lot of people with that. You could go for Lamb of Slaughter, chains all heroes. You can chain the whole team if you get one good chain. Then you can try and kill them all with W. Nexus Blades, the whole thing is though, if you chain the whole team and you don't have Nexus Blades, you're not going to have the attack damage to clear a whole team, But if you go for Nexus Blades, you can clear a team by yourself, no doubt about it. Bolt of the Storm, never really gone for this either, because I like to use Furnace Blast, like I said, but I've never ever gone Bolt of the Storm. This is just to teleport away. I guess if you're really good and you get into a really shitty engagement, you could possibly teleport away with Butcher. I don't see that being really good, though. I really don't, because he's kind of slow if he doesn't have this movement speed buff, which comes at level 13. So if you're not past level 13, really, this isn't really going to be of use to you, which you're going to be, obviously, when you're level 20. But this only comes from hitting your W. So if you're in a bad environment and you can't hit your W to heal from them, it doesn't matter. The Bolt of the Storm is just going to blink you farther away, and then Li Ming's going to throw her orb into you, and you're going to die. So it doesn't matter that you're fucking 5 feet away from where you were standing and you blinked. You're still going to die. So I recommend Nexus Blades, or Furnace Blast explodes twice. Lamb of Slaughter chains all enemies. This is, like I said, the go-to master build. The Lamb of Slaughter allows your team, like let's say you have a Greymane and you Lamb of Slaughter 5 people. I mean, that's beautiful. That's probably insta clear. But I like to do some killing myself, so I go for Furnace Blast. Even when I go for Furnace Blast, I go for Nexus Blades. But you can hit this if they're getting absolutely wrecked and you don't need extra attack damage and you just want to burn through them. You can go for double Furnace Blast. Also, if you're at their core, when you hit your ultimate, it will explode twice, and that does a lot. That's like 600 damage within 6 seconds. So that's a lot of damage. It's a good game finisher. So depending on where you are in the game, you might want to go that, you might not. Also, one last thing I want to talk about is the Butcher is really good at taking out the Garden Terror. Really good. Like, that's his specialty. I don't know what it is, and I don't know why he's not rated high on the Garden Terror map. I mean, he's in the middle, but he's not rated high. And I don't know why he's not, because he is insanely good at taking out the Garden Terror. Not only defending your base, but also attacking the Garden Terror to get seeds. He is insanely good at it. Why? Well, because he can hit his W on the Garden Terror, and this map is very life map. The Garden Terror map is all about life and seeds and the Garden Terrors and stuff. And so basically, he just hits his W. Look, he's still on full health after attacking the Garden Terror. So he just hits his W. He just hits his life leech, and he will he will kill the whole thing and remain on full health after he's done with it. So keep in mind, Butcher is really good at doing objectives that have a lot of life. He's really good when he has his full stacks. He's really good with a good team. He's really strong with a healer. If you have a good healer on your team, you can really do well. You can get a lot of kills with Butcher if you have a good healer. Let's see. He's really good when he has all of his stacks. Like I said, he's good when you don't charge into their base, and also he can one-on-one people, but I would never ever try and fight more than 2 people unless you're extremely confident that your Butcher's brand will save you and allow you to kill both. But he still is a Class D hero, and I cannot wait for the patch because it's going to do a lot of exciting stuff to him. And I will make a new video soon showcasing the 125 stack damage and some very effective builds to go in the new meta. I really can't wait, and thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope you guys enjoy the next one. So stay tuned.